All right, guys. Hello. Welcome. I'm very happy to see you here. But just confirm that you hear me. Okay? Let's do that. Here I am opening the text chat. And this is where, okay, thank you very much. I take it, yes, you do hear me. All is great. That's because it's just too quiet and I'm nervous. Okay, so hello. And I will also say welcome and hello from Houston, Texas. And what you can do is uh, open that, okay? Hello from Woodlands. And you're welcome to open the link. That's what happened here. That is Lance who opened his link. And this is Denver and this is Columbus. Very, very nice. So you can continue doing this. And meanwhile, I will share the screen here. Okay. And I can't close that because that is not important. What is important, however, well, you see I'm in the middle of work. What is important is that, okay? So I'm opening that. And that is our Advances in AI webinar. So what I usually do is I announce what we will be talking about. But when you start preparing, it somehow changes. So that's what I will go through. But first of all, welcome, everybody, welcome. I will go to chat to see what you guys are saying, but I will also give you that link. Okay, so here you are. That is the link that you need. So let me open that. I'm giving that on chat here. Okay, that is our link. You can click there and what will open is this. And this means that first of all, I'm Mark. What I'm doing is reviewing what's new this week. And that's the link to all of the webinars. And the second thing is what I call the learning path. So especially for people who are new and have not seen that, let me show you the learning path. You click here, it opens like that, and you see, well, you see about 100 different courses. That's the useful thing about us today. Now, today, there are no new courses. You will be surprised, but that's the first week where you essentially have not a new course. But we will talk about everything else. That's number one. So it's useful. Anybody who wants to learn something from the world of AI is welcome. So I gave you the link. Now you can open and you will also be able to open that learning path. And then you can go on your own. So once you're there, that's your learning path. How it is organized is this. You can start, for example, from prompt engineering. First of all, what it is about in general. Secondly, okay, prompt engineering. But usually it tells you what it is about and who is the acting party. For example, W and B, that's a framework. Cohere, it's another framework. Llama, another framework, and so on. So the way it works, you know, that people come to Android mostly. Most of these are deep learning, and they want to advertise something that they are doing. And Android very happily gives them the platform, and then they show you the specific course. Sometimes there is a difference. Sometimes there will be a course from Coursera, for example, or sometimes from somewhere else. But that is where you get education. Why does it say R? I have no idea. I probably messed up something. All right. So the next thing that we have, let's say the same prompt engineering. is here, the link to the course. So let's go. That's a link to the course. I'm not sharing the sound right now, but usually it is a course that somebody talks about. That's one link. And another link is, let's go back. Another link is that same course, but now it is running in our repository, in Elephant Scale repository, where things are more polished. So if you go here, you will see a show, nice show. But if you go here, you will see a lab. And if all the keys are there, let me open that. If all the keys are there, it should work, run out of the box. And that is the major thing that I'm showing. But it's the same every time. It also has new and new courses. Okay, that is the first thing. By the way, that's an interesting thing, but I'll talk about it. We'll show. So that is what you have, okay? And that's what we're going to talk about. So Andrew Ng talks about an interesting thing, and here it is, I'm reading about it. And he talks that today the thing is not how you build an app, but how fast you build an app. And he says we build them so fast that we end up with a new application within a few hours. That's what he's talking about. He is using this windsurf, one of the things, and he likes to talk about how much you can do with that, but I think it's mind-boggling. The speed with which you can build new applications is, he says, we end up having a new application within a few hours. That does make a big difference, right? So if you build new applications within a few hours, what happens that is that you can essentially try each new idea in a day and decide whether you do it or whether you don't. And I think that's amazing. It was never like that before. Now, how can you do it? Well, not only the tool, it's the whole culture. And that's what Andrew is talking about. He says we routinely get from product idea to a basic product in a few hours. And then he says, I invite you guys to try it out. Come to me. Okay? They are doing it in the AI fund, but they're inviting everybody to register and have this not hackathon, but a build-a-thon. How can you quickly build something? And that is here. So if I click on this build-a-thon, and you can do it as well. I keep it up right now. Later on, I'll clean it up. So maybe I will just click once. Let's do it. And as you see, build-a-thon. And apply now, meaning just join a live storm. Live, yeah, live stream. I think that can be done online or in person, Menlo Park. So, well, if you go, then of course, come back and tell us next week. Maybe tell us how did it go. Let's see. Apply now. So they give you the rules of how they're going to do it. But I wanted to see something else. Live stream. Yes, that's what I want. That I definitely want. So I'm giving my name and mark a telephone scale. And so me too, I will be registered. And when they are live, you can watch how they're building. That will be a lot of fun. That's what he talked about. And then he gave a little bit of name dropping about this windsurf, how one company wanted to buy them. Who was it? I think AI, ChatGPT. And in the end, they didn't buy it for $3 billion, but instead Google licensed the technology for $2.5 billion, not an exclusive deal. So I don't understand anything of that. But Google also ended up hiring almost everybody from the company. That means we need to go back. Let me show you right here. Windsurf, we already looked at that. Wind, there you are, right? We already looked at windsurf. Well, that means we really need to go back and do it again. And I'm writing it for the next week, what we should do right here. So I'm taking our next session. I'm copying next session for the next time. And that will be next Friday. And that will be already August 4th, if I'm not mistaken. No, it will be here, August 1st, 2nd, 1st, 2nd, here. Something is wrong, okay? Today is July 25, that's here, so that's where we need to be. That will be the next section where we absolutely need to do this windsurf again. So I'm copying that, and that is preparing ourselves for the next week, so at least that we should do. But really, I will talk about what I will talk. So, okay, it's very good to build these applications, and that's what we will do. But I'll tell you what I'm trying to do. Now, the first thing I was trying to do is case open law. It's open source. It's on that, and you guys had some questions about it. So if I open that, then I see supposedly it's a great new thing. Well, it turned out it's not great, and it's not a new thing. It's case law, and perhaps there are other case law databases, but that was advertised as the first one on Hugging Face. It has a code name HF, that's Hugging Face for legal. And I tried. I spent a couple hours trying to download uh, the data set. No, it didn't download. Okay, I'll show you what I've been doing. So I have created a new repository where I'm doing that complete experiment, freed AI, the new system, and downloading data. Nothing worked. So if we're looking at, I did download the data set in the end. I did. But before, I tried all kinds of code. I tried the first look. It was very simple. According to the rules, nothing worked, crashes, complains about something. Then I also looked at the first few sentences just so that I'm seeing something. Again, crashed. That's real life. Real life is not like that. But in the end, I was able to at least download the data, at least the first part of it. So yes, it does look like it is a data. It is something about attorneys and so on. Where is it here? Oh, disappeared. No problem. That's where it is. Okay. So I asked ChatGPT what I should do with it, because question is, okay, why does it not show? It doesn't matter. But what I should do with that is uh, this. I ask you, see how many mistakes it was making just non-stop. But I saw, what can I do with this data set? Well, let's try to find it. Well, it suggested just look at the data first, then try to train your model on that, okay, which makes sense. And then also do some use cases. So I actually did it. That much I did, and I'm closing whatever we don't need. but I'll show you what I have done. So I'm building something, building it on here, and I actually show it to you. On products because I concentrate on one specific goal, and that is build my free system, which works for lawyers, but it also works for anyone who is interested in investigating their data. And what I want to do is take the current application, but that current application should now scale. So I'll show you where I have the directory. By the way, I still have not decided if that should be open source or no, but I'm showing you to you anyway. So here we are. That's the repository. So in that repository, I will have everything. The current repository is for that system working on one single computer. So it will be a workstation version. It's already there. It's free. You can find it if you do searches. So if you are on Google and if you say uh, free discovery or open source e-discovery, then you will see that it is actually the top. Now, why is it the top and not a little bit down below? Because it knows me. But you can do the same thing. You can search for open source e-discovery and find it after all the paid advertisement. That is what I'm doing. And uh, what is special is that I'm building all anew from scratch. So there will be a place for every cloud. It will be done with Terraform. There will be an AI component, and that's where I started investigating the legal. All right, that's interesting. But now I do something else. I go to my emails, and I know that I have thousands of emails that are, oh, look, somebody is responding, just to prove the point that people are interested in this thing. And I really want to know, what do people want? So here's what I do. I go to uh, a place where all these emails that have something to do with the Freed, with the discovery, are marked with the label. I download this and then I load them themselves. I download these emails right into the repository, right into the discovery repository. So yes, we have this e-discovery repository. It's right here. If you go to Freed, that's here. You can download the application from here, but I'm going beyond that. I'm running this application and then I'm essentially making a little e-discovery on my own emails. And what I'm interested in is what do people want of that software? Okay, applause. Applause just right now, because if I can download or really load all these emails with custom requests into my software, and then there is already a AI component, then I can ask questions. I can tell it, well, summarize what people want. I never heard anything like that being done. Probably people are doing it, but that's what I'm doing the very first time. And I already have downloaded that into uh, one place. It created the mbox. It created the mailbox with all the emails. Now that became interesting because I have a complete questionnaire on what should you do with the startup. And one of them is to ask the question, would you use your software yourself? And now, yes, I would use my own software to plan the next product. Okay, and I will load it into my own software and then ask questions as to what I should be doing. That's where I am, and I prepared a blog entry, just didn't publish it. So that's my plan. I will keep working, but I will build in my software with it itself using that e-discovery. Now, that was the first step, and that's the first step. Let me close and go here. So here we are, and that was that. And because I started with using their case law, I also added using Freed to create the next version of Freed. Okay, that I think will be a lot of fun, and I started. Now, in addition, I want to stop for a second and look at your comments, but then I want to look at these two items, the RAG labs and also the Llama labs, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I'm going to the chat, and you're saying Tampa is located in Florida, Kansas, and Colorado, so it's not enough. If you say it's Tampa, not enough, yes, but you will tell me what it is. Okay, so at this point, I really want your feedback, especially not necessarily on AI and free. That's my dear topics, but on what do you build? Like he says, we build in 1 day, and then if the idea is not good, and we try it on the user, and if the idea is not good, then we start another idea. I think that's awesome. Are you anywhere near? So let me go to chat. So here's the chat. Okay, where is the chat? Okay, here's the chat, right? So how long does it take me? It takes me, and I'm putting me, M-E uppercase. It takes me about 5 days to build a new app. And I'm interested in a specific app, in my case, e-discovery, but it's a new version, so it does qualify. Okay, so how long does it take you? That's what I want to ask. How long does it take you? Okay, so me, it's a week. Andrew, it's a day. So, Lancer, are you on the level of Andrew Ng? That's what you're saying? Why not? Okay, who can build an app? Who can build an app in? So let me ask, 1 month? Anyone? 1 week? That's me. And 1 day? That's a Lancer. So Paul, you think it is doable in a day? Yes, if you stay with a known network. But my question to you, Paul, will be, today with AI, does it still matter that you stay with a known, well, angle? At least it's reasonable. I'm not intimidated. The month is really, really reasonable. Okay. So we do have all the variations. We have somebody who is 1 day, 1 week, and 1 month. Okay. And that's what Andrew is doing. His build-a-thon will be, he mentioned, he mentioned a few hours. But by the way, mentions, but we hope participants will build it in 16 minutes. Now, he keeps in mind 2 or 3 engineers. So maybe engineer weeks. So we'll see if we do go to this build-a-thon, and if we experiment, maybe next time you guys share where you are. You think alpha level code can be done quickly, but not beta quality. Yeah, I totally agree. But you start in that short amount of time. And then the next step is you build something real. And now we're talking about projects. I'll just show you my projects to make it really fun. So here is a bunch of projects that I'm not discussing with anyone and not shown to anyone. But once you start these projects, they go to weeks and months. That is real life. So once you're beyond, that's my stuff. Okay, but now let's go back. Let's go back and talk about this. So first of all, we want to review windsurf, and that's next time. Secondly, we want to review the regs. So what happened to the regs is that last time I reviewed the complete reg course. That complete reg course was on Coursera, and that was complete. And I'll show you what and where it was. So if we go to that place where I store all of the courses right here, OpenAI Labs, and if you go down to the last one, there you are. I think it should show ranks somewhere. Well, there were a few rags. You see, there is Neo4j rag, there is JavaScript and uh, and another JavaScript. Okay, builds in with Llama. But what I don't see is what we looked at last time. It was right here. That here. That was a complete reg course, so let me open it, quickly summarize it. That's what I showed you last time. Because that shows every stage, every part of how you build it. And as I showed you, that requires payment. There are lots of things that you don't really need. So that's what I showed last time. Now this time I compared to the existing labs from the Sam Andrew Ng. And I would say we don't need all the complete courses. If anybody is interested, they can write to me. But usually I would say you don't need that. Instead, just go here into the learning path and use one of those regs labs. Now, I need to add it, especially to the Llama course. So that's next week. But what I'm working on is a complete reg and verify that it's a good course and a complete Llama. And that all would be here. Okay. That would be a Llama, and that would be a Llama, and yet another one. Multi-model and Llama 4. That is really the crown achievement, and that's what we will talk about next time. So put it here. That is for the next time. What's important is that it's freely available. We really want to add one into our stuff right here, and we will do it. Okay, but basically I already reviewed it. So that's another one. And the third one. So we said that we will look at RAG, also look at Llama, and unfortunately I cannot show them to you live right now. Instead, I will give you the links here. So I'm giving you links here. One of them is Meta Llama, and let me give the link here. So while you're waiting for all of that, I will give you the link right here, and that's number one. So if you want to go ahead and prepare for the next week, well, I'm also preparing for the next week. It's right here. And that will be a completely working. We will also do windsurf next time. And I will try to continue. What I will show to you guys next time is what happens in the end, because here I am working on a complete startup design. I'm asking you to review all of my customer emails. I'm asking you to suggest what do the customers want. The numbers. Right now, there are about 3,000 people who tried this software at a certain point of time, and there are about 700 people who are active and about 10 people who are buying support. So there's a chance for that software, but what I really want to do is do something nobody has ever done. Tell people about how fast we can do it. Tell people that it is open. I'm telling you openly what I'm doing. So that will be update this design next time. So I'll put it here. Read. I call it Freed AI. So there is a free that you can find it, and it's downloadable, free. You can run it. The only thing is that when you want the AI component, you need the key. But other than that, it's working. What I want to do is give you the update next time. That is it. Now, really, I want your questions. So what I'm doing is this. I stop share. I go to the chat. Okay, and I look at what you said, but then I also ask your questions, or you ask me the questions. So first of all, Shangita is, where are these documents? The answer is that they are right here. That is the link that you need, and that's the only one that you need. So here I am on text, and Shangita, that is your link. Okay. Once you click on it, you have everything else there. And I'm not showing my screen intentionally so that you concentrate on what I'm saying and not what I'm showing, and that you ask the questions. Now, I see we had a conversation essential between Lancer, who does it all in 1 week, and Paul, who is careful. Keep in mind, guys, it will take you longer. Okay. Now, Lancer says that I don't know Android's proficiency in software engineering. Well, the legend is that he worked everywhere. He worked at Google DeepMind and Facebook and Microsoft, and then he also has quite a few hundreds developers. So I would think his team at least is quite proficient in that. And the next Lancer said that he is talking about new apps, and even, okay, the snake, we did that lab and it wrote a little lab for us in 30 minutes. Yeah, that happened. The next is we were talking about more. or more what you can do. The last one, it will take less longer after all, but he can get better with practice. Okay, so that was the summary. So back to share the screen. Share the screen is that we talked about people are building very fast. It's to me it's mind-boggling and you're giddy at that speed. So what I suggest is that you learn every day. I think that's the key. You keep learning, you never stop. It wasn't that essential. You could learn Fortran and then spend your life programming in Fortran. Not anymore. Not that you cannot do it, but it doesn't make sense. So now you essentially have no justification not to code. You have no justification not to learn, and that's what Andrew is saying as well. That in today's day and age, and I mean today, real today, June 25th, they build a new application in a day. If so, that does make a complete distinction and difference between start and finish and try an idea in one day and try the next idea the next day and so on. That only works because you have the speed and agility to do it. Tools, well, Andrew talked a lot about windsurf and who bought it, and but to you it is all available for free, and we will rerun these labs. Okay, so sharing the link. I think Angie also asked for that link. You can also write to me. You can always write to me at Elephant Scale. And a few other things that we're doing is, if you're in Houston, let me show you what I'm planning. I'm planning a meetup in person. I have quite a few meetups. If you look, 1, 2, 3, 8 meetups, because people start their meetups, but then they don't want to continue. It drops into my lab, and here it is. Now, I am going to my events. How could I see them? My events here. Okay. So, I want to come back into the library. That's why I started. And where are my events? That's in person. Two attendees here. When it says one attendee, it's just right. One, it's me. But come over. It's in the library, and library is it tells you every one of these links will tell you which library that is, and it is here. McGovern Stella Link Library. And what are we talking about? Well, some kind of on the surface question. Is AI taking your job or no? I right away tell you that I think no. Instead, you're becoming more powerful with AI. And that's why it would be a nice conversation. But I'm going to broadcast it. You don't have to live in Houston. And you can join, that will be 6:30 p.m. broadcasting that as well. We'll talk about what you guys think about how gruesome or how great it is. That's what we'll talk about. I see also somebody. What answer? What inspired me to share this information for free? That is the best question, I would say. Yeah, that's the $50 billion question, maybe. Well, first of all, I'm very egoistic. I want to teach and I want to know. And the best way is to force oneself. That's what I'm doing. I'm forcing myself to run a webinar every week. And then what happens is that people come, they ask questions, and I am forced to prepare for everyone. So that's why. But of course, you can think of all the obvious advantages that open source is free and information is free, philosophy is free. There are even theories that philosophy should be free. And if we're talking about this, I would say that once you don't have to work at all, which might come, everybody's talking about that. Well, so what's the purpose of life? So, according to Socrates, the purpose of life is philosophy. There's no other purpose. So okay, so that's different ideas on what you can do with the information and how you can share. And I hope I answered your question and not any other question. Okay, that's what I'm doing. So we'll be talking. We're preparing courses also for, well, let's say, real estate professionals. How can they use AI? But my major interest, and then when the requests come to Elephant Scale, of course I do it, and then the other trainers do it. But what is important is that for developers, that webinar is essential for developers and what you can do now with AI. And so far, there is no end in sight, at least so far. I'm hopefully going to create a big course for a big company. They want all their developers to use AI. So that is in the works. But what's important is that it's everywhere. So some people who want to simply just learn, simple learn here. That's one way, and not pay anything, right? That's the best to me, I think. And well, honestly, that's how I learn. But if you are in a corporate environment, then many people prefer to pay for the course, let management pay for the course, and you yourself don't come. Everything is prepared. And anyway, 10, 15 people spend their time off work. Well, it's better to prepare them for a very well structured ingestion of information than go and get a piece here and a piece there. That's why people do this kind of corporate training. All right. Kimberly says, is it easier to learn how to use AI to develop without having a developer background? Kimberly, I would say yes, it is easy enough. And I would say start. Where? I would say with this course. So it will be the course by Andrew Ng, Python. This one, AI Python for Beginners, taught by Andrew Ng himself. So I'll put it in there. So note one interesting thing, and I'm going to put a link in a second. He doesn't call it Python AI. No, he calls it AI Python. Why? Because there are three people in the room. That's the trainer, that's the student, the learner, and AI. And that today goes together. You cannot have one without another. You can, but why suffer? So here it is. I'm giving it to you in the chat. And there you are. I wish you good luck on this journey, either free or for money, but it's definitely worth learning that stuff. However little you do, you're amplified by AI, so you can do great things. All right, everybody, thank you very much. I wish you a great weekend. Yes, and a great year ahead, and be well. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Lisa or Eliza. Angie, my answer at the end. Did you ask about this course that you can learn from Andrew Ng, and it would be AI Python for beginners? Was that the question? I think yes. I think that was. Yes, let me give you the educational spreadsheet. 1 second. Right here, learning path. Oh, here it is. Learning path. That's a long list. Okay, no, I asked about the motivation for starting this podcast. That's a great question. I'll tell you a one honest answer, and that will be real, and that's why it's better to give you the details. So I was very much impressed by Hugging Face very first offering, and that happened a little bit more than 2 years ago. But Hugging Face is right here. Hugging Face. Not Hugging. Yeah, Hugging Face right here. Well, they have not only whatever they have, but also a course. And I taught that course. After that, things were so easy. They were never that easy before. Hugging Face was the first one who made it into a very simple set of libraries based on transformers. Well, after that, I continued for a few weeks, and then AI came. When AI came, you couldn't not continue. Does that make sense? Okay, there you are. You like that? And that's what started me. All right, everybody, be well.